Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm here joined by Tony Lewis.
Hi guys.
And we're going to do another specking video today. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, and I'd like you to leave any comments and stuff below whether you think it's something I should do more of moving forward, specking cars that I'm not necessarily buying. So today we're looking at the 2 Series, or the M240i xDrive more specifically. And the reason I'm doing that is just because I think it's quite interesting to explore what the options are, what some of the options mean, and talk about them with someone like Tony that tends to know a lot more than the general public. But this specific car, as many of you might know, I was lucky to go and drive it in Germany at the back end of last year, I think September, October sort of time. And blown away by it. Amazing car, and can't wait for customers to get theirs very soon. But what I didn't know at the time, and a specific option I didn't know about at the time, because obviously German cars are different to UK cars and whatever. So that car that I had up there had, I remarked about the wheels, 245 section fronts, 255 section rears, so almost the same as a stock M2 competition. But more importantly, the fronts being 245, I kept going on about the front end grip, the turn-in was amazing, etc. And what I didn't know was actually if you just go for a stock M240i xDrive, you get a different wheel option to the one that I had in Germany. And the front tyres actually become 225 section, which probably make it more efficient, probably make it roll a bit easier. But you're not going to get that ultimate grip because the contact patch is smaller, and I know that it doesn't sound like that much smaller, but I haven't driven one of them, so I can't comment. But I just wanted people to be aware of that, and then I thought, you know what, let's do a whole video on how you could spec your M240i xDrive, and I just wanted to highlight that wheel or tyre package difference that we get here in the UK. Those of you that aren't aware of Tony Lewis, well, his Instagram handle is below in the description, as are his email details. And if you're looking at one of these, then please drop, and you're from the UK, anywhere in the UK, but from the UK.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you can't
no
do
left-hand drives, can't do exports.
Yeah, I get quite a few Australian viewers saying, oh, if only Tony Lewis could export to Australia, or if we had...
If only I lived in Australia.
Yeah, I know the climate over there.
Melbourne BMW, if you need someone, I'm available.
You'll be over there, yeah. So yeah, please, obviously feel free to drop him a line. He's brilliant, as are Berry BMW in Croydon, where we are today.
And you're not paid to say that.
And I'm not paid to say that, yeah. Hashtag no ad. But again, regulars will know that I've worked with Tony, or known Tony for many, many years now. And
stuck with each other now.
We're like an old married couple. Yeah. Just don't tell your wife.
No, she actually thinks we are a married
couple.
Yeah.
So does Lou.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the standard car with the standard wheel. So
yes.
Because you had the car, as you say, with the upgraded wheel and tyre, which was the darker wheel.
Yep.
And this will be quite familiar to most of you guys if you've seen the M340i with the standard cerium grey wheel, which that basically is a copy of, if you like.
Sure, and the colour of the wheels go with the canards, with the door mirror, and that all harps back to the original M135i of 2012 that had...
That's our theme, isn't it? For an M Performance, M Light model. Yeah. That's basically what we'll do. Yeah. So that's that wheel there.
Okay.
So that's the standard car there. We're just showing that off in the white colour. So I think colour's been quite a big debate with a lot of people, and I've seen people actually across the range at the minute. I've had people pretty much going for a mixture of Thundernight and Brooklyn as being the two first choice, if you like, colours that people are specifying. Obviously Thundernight being such a new colour, or Thunderpants as we've all christened it already.
And that's the colour I had in a press car. That's the colour that was the car at Goodwood last year.
Fantastic.
It is a lovely colour. I can't give it enough praise.
We just haven't done it, have we? I mean, it's been an individual colour of a different variation under a different name. Yeah. Twilight purple, or whatever colour you want to call it. Yeah. But now it's in the range as a traditional colour in Thundernight, and obviously people are now saying, oh, will that filter through to other cars? We'd love it to, but maybe it will be specific to this range. We don't know, you know.
Okay.
Who knows what BMW are planning? So the main mixture has been across the board has been the Thunder Night or Brooklyn Grey, which again we've seen it on a few models now. So and yeah, it does lend itself to the car. Personally, I think it probably highlights a little bit too much of the awkwardness maybe around the rear.
Yep.
Which I know you've been quite vocal on.
The Sherpa. The rear is slowly growing on me, but I think the thing with it is it's a bit like when the new M3 and M4 came out, and even people that weren't a fan of the grills, the rest of the package was so nice, impressive, etc. It brought the whole car up. You forgot about the grills to a certain point, and I think the same with at least with this one, it's around the back end of the car. But I think over time we will get used to it.
It's always that shock, is that initial shock.
Yeah.
Is, oh no, I don't like that, I don't like that. But actually, it's, I always like it with the iX. Like, first time I saw the iX, I was a bit like, you know, and everyone's making jokes about the, you know, the Bugs Bunny teeth. I get all that, but actually now when I look at it, it's like it doesn't hurt me anymore.
No.
You know, it's not harmful.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, all these things grow on you, and I do think photographs don't help with this, because you know you've driven it and seen it in the flesh, and I saw it at Goodwood as well. Yeah. The back actually doesn't look so bad in the flesh, but it doesn't photograph very well at all. It doesn't lend itself to it. Yeah,
and the car's got presence. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like the old M240i, M235i before that. I loved it, but it was always quite it's a slim and slender looking car in comparison to some of the stuff we see today. And I think like a 220 diesel and an M240i, the previous gen, if you parked them together, they would both look be difficult to sort of tell them apart, which was a good thing and a bad thing. I think that's what always made the M-Light such a cool car, was they were kind of, if you debadged them, as I did with mine, they just flew under the radar. And it could have been a 220D, but it's not. And I think this new M240i xDrive, when you walk up to it, it's got like almost M2 presence. And I think that's really cool. So, that's Estoril, right?
That's Portimao.
Oh, Portimao, okay. Oh, I didn't.
So yeah, again, see how it looks like. I know it always looks slightly different in, you know, when you look at it on screen to how it is in the flesh, but actually, again, it just shows you how a colour on a different car.
Looks so different.
It doesn't look like your M3.
No, not at all.
And it lends itself to this car really, really well.
I didn't know that. That shows how much homework I've done on the configurator, and that's why I'm here with Tony, learning with all you lot as well. But
and we sold a few of these, you know, quite.
I can see.
You can see why, can't you?
Portimao.
It does look well on the car.
Oh yes.
And again, works with both levers. You know, whether you want the cognac leather inside or the black leather inside, that works with both on
lovely. Oh yes. Okay, so let me just. So we got the black sapphire. Yeah. We got the Melbourne red. Yeah. Okay, which is harping back to the the previous.
So the black, you know, I suppose if people do find the shape a little bit offensive, black is always a great way of hiding design features. Yep. And again, we are looking at it in the standard with the Cereum grey on at the minute, so we'll put the shadow pack on shortly with the M240 Pro black. Yeah. Which will just make it look a little bit sharper. But that's just looking at the black with the contrast there. Yeah. That's cool. And that's a really nice colour palette, isn't it, actually? And you've got the two whites. We were just discussing that. I mean, I suppose Alpine white is a no-cost option, and it's the sporty option. Yeah. Mineral white does lend itself to a different market in as much as you are paying for it, but that pearlescence really pops on that colour. So again, with the amount of sort of shapes you've got on it and a lot of flat surfaces and curves, that would really, on a sunny day, that would just look stunning in the car. So you're saying the mineral shows the shapes and the because the lines. You're reflecting light, so it's throwing the shape back. In fact, you can see it on the configurator there. Look, even there, the rear arch, how much it protrudes. Yeah. And the bottom of the door lines, and then around the back. Again, that's really nice. The white looks good. Yeah, I mean, okay, so even if you looked at it on paper, you'd be like, 6 choices, but actually there's 6 or 7 strong and very different colours. Yep. I didn't realise about Portimao blue. Wow, if I had to choose now, I would. You'd be doing that, wouldn't you? Well, no, I probably would, but I really like the Thunder Night, but I know that's going to be a very popular colour. Yeah, and we've talked about how that happens, doesn't it? It becomes the theme colour of that car, and it'll be like done to death for the first 6 months, and you'll be sick of seeing them. It'll be the Isle of Man green, it'll be the Estoril blue, it'll be one of those colours. Long Beach blue on the M2 as well. Long Beach blue on the M2, So, nice. Okay, so, wow.
Yeah, well, that's a nice colour palette.
I think just for the sake of being a little bit bold, let's work with a Portimao blue, because I know it works with both interiors.
Yep.
And we'll use that as our base colour as we run through the options. So
yeah.
we'll move on to wheel choice.
Yep.
Actually, you haven't really got a wheel choice. You basically either take the Pro package, which gives you the dark wheel,
Yep.
which you know about,
which is the one that I had on the press car. Yeah.
Which then gives you the performance tyres with the wider tyre on the front.
Yes. So the performance tyre, this is where it's not that clear in my head anyway. Performance tyre, it's not just a different tyre; it's a different sized front tyre. It's the 245 section front tyre. So you need to go for the Pro pack. Yeah.
So effectively, when you highlight on this,
yep.
If I was to select this now as an option, as customer would on the configurator,
yep.
it will highlight basically a conflict that says you must order the car with the Pro pack, to enable it to have 1WO, which is the 19-inch 893 M double spoke.
Yep. Okay.
So with performance tyres. So we will click on that. It's a £1,700 pack. And effectively, if I just bring that across and highlight effectively what that then does to the car. So the first thing it does is gives you individual shadow line headlights.
Yep.
So you can see in here now the inside of the light is like almost a black finish inside.
Sure.
So it just cuts down the reflection. So
yep.
it gives it a much meaner stance. Individual high gloss shadow elements. So now your mirrors, your front parts here down the bottom around the air surrounds,
yep.
and matches the wheels. So all the cerium grey is now removed from the car.
Nice.
We've got this full black finish around the front of the grille.
Yeah. Which I have to say, on the M340, I know you're a big fan of it. On the M440, I'm kind of like, I kind of sit in the middle because I don't mind the cerium grey stuff. But I think on this, because this is an out-and-out sports car, it really looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can imagine this is probably going to be a 80%, 90% uptake option, this one.
Yeah, easily. And I guess the key is those tyres, because the tyres are going to make or break the car, aren't
yes,
they? And that will give you those M performance tyres, so it will drive how you found the car on your first drive video.
Okay.
And you can see there again, it just evens it all out, doesn't it? It's like blue and black and that's it, so you just get that lovely effect.
Looks mega, yeah.
And you get HK sound system with that. So now obviously there's a lot of as we film this, there's a lot of chip shortages. And there's a lot of cars don't get HK sounds on their car, but the HK surround sound will always come, as from what I remember and looking at all of the cars in our range, as if it's an MPA model, which is an M performance model. So we're talking M340, X3 M40i, M240. They still will come with HK sound system, even though it's been dropped from all the lesser engines. So 118 won't have it, a 218 won't have it, but you will get that on this car. And as we say, the wheels as well with the tyres.
So actually that's a pretty, and as we talked about in my M3 ordering video, it's a £1,700 package, but it's not, because there's residuals in there. And I can imagine actually a car without that pack is probably going to have, well, quite clearly lesser residuals, and therefore you're not paying that whole 17, and I'm not sounding like a salesman here, but you're not paying 1,700 quid, you're paying probably more like 1,200-1,300 quid, and you're paying that over 2 or 3 years. So actually, if you're financing it, it's definitely, that's 100% the option that I would go. If you're going to tick something, tick that. Okay.
So whilst we're on the packages here, just to highlight the others, you've got a technology package on here, which is $1,250 at the moment, because it's missing the wireless charging with the enhanced Bluetooth. Because that is still at the minute on a restriction. But what you do get with that is the head-up display and the parking assistant. So that's obviously your cameras all around the car, reverse cameras, etc., and your head-up display. Again, unique to this segment. It's not been available before in our 1 and 2 series.
No.
So obviously we brought it forward with the new F41 series, and now it's available on this 2 series.
And it's a proper head. I mean, I had it, and it's a proper head-up display. It's not like one of those mini ones that come up like a little.
Oh, the mini one that's all like
No, it's a proper full-fat head-up display.
There's an extended package of that, which is the Enhanced Technology Plus pack, and that also is combined with the drive recorder. And the parking assistant plus, so that takes it to another level effectively. But again, whether you need those options or not, we all talk about adding weight to the car. It's another £650. You know, if you really want it, it's there. It's nice to have the option. but it is, there's not a lot of uptake for either of these packs. I suppose from what I'm seeing on the orders we've taken so far, a fair few, maybe 30% have gone with the technology pack for the head-up display.
Yep.
Very few have taken the technology plus pack.
Okay.
Also got a comfort pack here, so that's your front lumbar, comfort access, and slightly misleading, it lists electric memory seats in here. Just to point out, the M240 does come with electric memory seats as standard.
Yeah.
It's not actually, you've got to take the comfort pack to get it. So not quite sure why it's been highlighted like that, but what you're actually getting is the heated steering wheel and the comfort access.
Yeah, so keyless access essentially.
Yeah. So
and the lumbar support.
Yeah.
And how much is that? Oh, 500
That's
quid.
a 500
Yeah, we'll see that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just the price is always a bit of a giveaway. Like if you see 500 quid, you know that that's not going to be electric seats.
Are normally 650 on their own. So
Okay.
We like to discount the package a little bit, but that would be
not that much.
Yeah, that was a bit too much of a free.
Okay, a tow bar on your M240i. Well, that's interesting.
Who knew?
Yeah.
So available, but again, I haven't had anyone ask for that. Clearly,
no.
Heat steering wheel if you didn't want to go for the comfort pack.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like the comfort access because they still feel there's a risk from an insurance point of view that people can grab your code and start the car and drive it away.
Yeah.
I'm told that can't happen because we now got a switch off system and it's a rolling code, but some people have still got a stigma attached to those. And some insurance companies have a stigma attached to it as well. So.
Yeah, but and also I think even aside from the security, but I'm a bit old school and I don't have it on either of my cars. But whenever I get a press car with it, I'm not used to it, so it annoys me sometimes. And I think it's the whole, we don't put a key in the ignition anymore, so we've lost that contact. We don't, and it just walking up to a car. But anyone that's under the age of 25 at the moment is going to be like, what is wrong with you? Like, why would you want to do that?
I've got my X3's got it, and I still want to take the key out and press the blipper myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, I want to do that.
I bet you do you program the bip as well?
No, I'm not that bad.
Oh, come on.
I like my neighbours. So
okay.
That's for, you don't like your neighbours, switch on that 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, bip, yeah.
Lovely.
Nice.
Right, M-adaptive suspension.
Yes,
So,
okay.
Now this goes back to, I suppose, do you remember when we started sort of talking about M135s, M140s all those moons ago? But that became just like a compulsory option on the car. Yeah. Now I haven't got the luxury of having driven one with and without it. Yeah. So, and I'm guessing your car, the car you drove
had adaptive. Yeah.
So.
I mean, I can't without even trying it. You've got to remember all these cars, although the suspension on them, like the new M3, has got better for the UK market. What you've got to remember is that our roads, these cars are predominantly made for German roads and set up over there. Our roads aren't as good as German roads, and anyone I know that's bought an M1, the previous M135i or M140 or 240 rather, that didn't go adaptive, and I've driven a lot of them. They are very, very firm, and they do, especially just going on the M25, they never settle. And I know that there's an argument as to the passive setup being maybe a better track car, easier to swap things around, put different suspension and stuff. But out of the box, if you're using this car for everything, for 500 quid, it's just, in my head, it's a complete no-brainer. Because I would. Well, here we go. So.
So this is our product library, which just gives us an official definition, goes into a little bit more detail. So every dealer has access to this. It's not in the public domain, but any dealer can basically just cut and paste elements of this to anybody that's asking about what actually does this do. So this is our product library for our training, effectively. Okay. But with an M-adaptive suspension, it's a stiffer spring, damper setup. I suppose what I want to highlight today is actually what happens is, as you just alluded to, with a standard passive setup, you can only have one setting. That's it. So it tends to be on a sporty car slightly stiffer because it has a job to do. The beauty of M-adaptive suspension isn't about making it so much more stiffer in sport mode. No. It is slightly stiffer, but the element is actually you can relax the comfort right the way back to give you a much bigger window. So in comfort mode, you are literally feeling how much more comfortable it is. And in sport mode, you'll go actually way beyond what the standard passive setup was. So it's having that window, which is just perfect, because at the switch of a button, you've got comfort to sport, sport plus, as you know, and you've effectively now got 3 levels of suspension setting, and it just gives it an all-round appeal. So that on a normal day where you've got the family on board, comfort mode is just lovely. You know, the car is 2 cars in one.
And with your sport individual setting, you can then dial up your throttle and your to make, you know, exhaust, etc. So it feels really sensitive, if you like. It gives you a bit more exhaust sound, but you can then dial back the suspension. And to be fair, in anything in my M3, I am in comfort even when I'm pushing on, going for a spirited drive in that thing. It's in comfort. The only time I'd go Sports or Sport Plus is when I take it out on track, or if I'm in Spain. It would maybe go up to Sport, not Sport Plus, because they're just not designed. And I can imagine that being the same. I think in Germany I was messing around with it, but again, the roads that they gave us for that press drive were just beautiful. They were like smoother than this table. so it's very hard to you can never talk about ride quality when you go abroad to test a car, because these manufacturers, they're not stupid.
They know what
they're doing.
Billiard smooth. Like,
Well, that an R8 launch I went to at the end of last year. We went to Tenerife. Where were we? Not Gran Canaria. And I think they just laid the road was so perfect. It was just like, you can't talk about ride quality on this. Like, it's ridiculous. You could have wooden blocks in the car and it'd feel amazing. But anyway, so again, that's for me, must-have option. It's a must-have option.
It's a big option. It's a big option. It does give you so much more ability. We've got this M technology pack. Another one that kind of is a little bit confused out there, and people are not sure what it gives, because the terminology of it does make you feel that if you go for the M technology pack, you're getting the upgraded performance tyres, because in the product library, it does list on here that the car comes with vehicle-specific high-performance tyres on exclusive rims in a wider design, with wheel arch extensions, spats in body colour. Actually, when you tick that box, it insists you take the M240 package, Pro package, which gives you the wheels and the tyres. So
which is where the cost is.
Actually, the cost is in that part of the package. So they work hand in hand. It isn't that you can order this for £300 and just get the tyres you want, because it will actually force you to order the Pro package as well. But what it does give you for the £300 charge, actually, if you're a fast road driver, or you're doing track days, then effectively, I think you would want that, because it gives you an advanced cooling system for the transmission, drivetrain, and the brakes. So it's basically it's enhanced. It doesn't go into too much detail about what it's doing, but it's an improved cooling system. I believe there's an extra oil cooler for the transmission to help that keep cool, and there's probably a better breathing system for the brakes themselves. But it isn't a larger disc or a larger caliper. That would run into a lot of money. I mean, there are 4 pots on the front anyway, so with a very large vented disc. So that basically is what you're getting for the £300.
Oh well, that's interesting. Again, this system is very, because you couldn't. Would you read that anywhere on the configurator? No.
I mean, I think it's probably available somewhere, but no, on the configurator it gives you some brief details, but doesn't go into the full details.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because the sort of customer that's looking for something like this car, especially, or an M car, is a punchy customer who wants to know. Well, 80% of them might want to know. Oh, what does that mean? Okay, but what does it actually mean? And you want to dig into these.
Well, we do have product geniuses at pretty much every branch, and they have access to this stuff, and they're online as well, of course. So you can tend to get this information if you get the right person. They'll look into it for you. So that's an option that's had a fairly high uptake because of the type of car it is. And then following on from the M3, we've got a choice of calipers here. We've got dark blue or red, basically. So we've got a choice of 2.
Oh, that's cool.
ZNH M brakes.
Just going to have a sip of water from my BMW branded water bottle this time. I think years ago I took an Audi one with me or something, remember? Trying to wind you up, But this time, I'm on brand, so don't worry, Tony.
So the blue brakes, slightly darker than the Portimao blue.
Yep.
We call it a navy blue, so I think they're trying to be a bit more distinct and actually letting you know that the braking is actually that much darker on it.
Sure.
As it comes around, you'll see it. So that probably works either way, whether you go for the red or the blue.
Oh yeah,
It's
okay,
not an issue at all.
Yeah, nice.
Sunroof.
Yep.
We know we're putting a bit of weight in the wrong place, but it just transforms a car, doesn't it?
Yeah, depends what you're using it for, doesn't it? Really, like if you're using that as your lovely daily, you live in the country and you're not fussed about the slight extra. I always had roofs on my ones actually. It just opens the car up, and especially if you go, it is very dark in there with the black leather, and some people love that, and it's not, it's not horrible. It's a lovely beautiful cabin, in fact, very similar to the 3 and 4 Series. But if you wanted some extra light in there, just adding that roof does open it up, and especially if you're going to have rear. I'm sure a lot of people, like they had done with the M2s, they're convinced their other half that the M2 or the 2 Series is the perfect family car. And if you're going to have small kids or even child seats or whatever in the back, just having that extra panel of light makes it a lot less claustrophobic back there. Much nicer place to sort of put people or kids. So yeah, that's still it's great. And again, it's great they still offer that.
And a slightly reduced price compared to other cars.
Okay.
The pano roofs tend to be £1,000, £1,100, £1,200. There, it's an £800 roof.
Yeah.
That's actually come down a bit in price compared to what it was on the previous model.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was on my M140 back in 2018 or something. Yeah.
Then we've got these illuminated M accents.
Oh, this sounds like an option that This is Tony's most important option.
These are very Marmite.
Marmite, but not for you.
So
what? I don't even know what these are. Oh, those. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So this sort of it's like a piece of plastic, isn't it? Did you have them on?
Yeah.
So
and it doesn't look like it lights up, but they are. They're backlit. Yeah.
So again, we're just putting the flash. It's just something different.
Yeah.
We've never done it before.
No.
And I think it shows not so much humour, but it just shows that M division are looking at things and going, actually, what can we do just to bring it on another level? And it also just differentiates the interior to a normal 3 Series or 4 Series. Absolutely.
It makes it, you're in a 2 Series or M240. No, it's actually quite, sorry, I didn't realise it was that. I actually quite liked them. And when you're driving along, you can kind of see that one there. And when you open the doors, they change, they do, they're interesting.
They do a little bit of dancing and that.
Yeah.
So £175 option. Again, we've had about half uptake with that so far.
Yep.
So a lot of people like them. These are all standard features. Now the standard interior is high gloss black interior, which is that piano black, which we sort of used to try and avoid in our M lights years and years ago.
Yeah.
Because really the issue with those, as we know, is literally just the fingerprints, scratches.
Yeah. Looks fantastic when it's clean,
so
and
it's all across here, all the way around the panel there.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot. It's quite an area. So there is only one option, but that's an upgraded option to put it back to aluminium tetragon.
Okay.
So if we just flick that on, just
the aluminium hexagon, that's what we saw in the current 3 Series when that was launched and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's just got a bit of a pattern to it and gets rid of the black, so that
even though I think the black looks better, that's going to lift the interior a bit and wear a lot better.
Yeah, when the car comes back in 3 or 4 years, it's going to look lovely still.
Yeah, and that's what, a couple of £100 or something.
170, another 175. Quote myself, but yeah.
Okay.
150.
150. Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely worth it. A year down the track, you probably wish you'd gone with that, just because, depending on how messy you are. Some people, I'm sure. Okay, and then we've got
some more technical options like driving assistant, which again is going to add things like cameras and weight and more electrical stuff that goes in the car. But I know it's nice to offer it, but I just wonder, would you want that on this sort of car?
Is driving assistant, is that the one that actually does the autonomous driving, or
no? So that's driving assistant
plus.
Yeah. So on this one, we'll just bring this down to the product library. Camera and radar-based driving assistant consisting of lane departure warning, lane change warning, front collision warning, brake intervention, cross traffic warning, side collision warning, speed limit info with manual speed limit assistant. I mean, I'll sit here and read it out, but it'll just I mean, you can see it.
It's all safety
related, and that's the only thing. It's like the average buyer of this car is used to driving an M140 with traction control off. Probably why the majority of people that have taken it and wanted it is because it comes with the active cruise control, which locks onto the car in front and maintains the gap, speeds up, slows down, stops the car. you know, I suppose if you're doing a lot of motorway driving, it'll do that. But it's not, as you say, it's not Drive Assistant Plus where it steers itself and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
It's one stage back from that.
Yeah.
But I think that's why most people have gone for it, because that normally is about $650 on its own.
Yeah.
So £1,000, you get all of the other technology all lumped in as one package, effectively.
Again, I love, I don't know, call me old school, but I love normal cruise control.
Yeah.
That in the UK, unless you're on a very quiet road, active cruise, I'm concerned that it's constantly on the brakes, which it is, and so my brake lights are flashing, and there's just so many. If I'm on cruise, and also I think active cruise or driver assistant plus, they are great, but when you've got them activated, I mean, look at your typical Tesla. Look at your typical Tesla owner, and you see him. I was watching one the other day. It looked like he was rolling a joint or something while he's going along.
Sitting in the back.
Yeah, he's just not interested. And I think your normal cruise. I remember thinking that as a youngster, like normal cruise takes a lot of your focus off.
Yeah.
But now you've got all these fancy systems, and they're great. But really, for me, when I've got normal cruise on, it takes a bit of pressure off me, but I'm still fully focused on what I'm doing.
Yeah. Anywhere where we're listed here with things like active cruise control with no cost next to that's because it is in these packages. So effectively all of that is in the packages above us.
Yeah.
HK sound is available on its own. So should you be of the mind that you didn't want the M Pro package, you weren't bothered about the tyres and all that sort of stuff, but you did want the HK sound, you want to keep it all with stereo and grey, then you can specify HK sound on its own at $750.
Okay,
So again, gives you a little bit of a flexibility and options available.
Yeah.
But all these where there's a zero cost next to it means they're an option in a package already. So,
okay.
Now a lot of this has happened, of course, because of the need to basically get everything tested. For all of the new EU regs and that. So it was just cheaper to put things in packages and test them once, than to have 50 options and have to test the car with 50 options to get a different CO2 reading. Just to keep everybody happy. So it cost an absolute fortune. That's why that's happened.
Well, at least you're honest about it.
So
most of the manufacturers are like, well, we've made it simpler for the customer. It's like, no, you haven't. But I know why you've done it, because
I mean, that's a bybyproduct. It is simpler because you've got full packages.
Because it was getting out of control. It was getting out of control, the individual options. And also, I mean, I feel sorry for the manufacturers having to do the tests that they have to do now. It's just crazy. Okay, cool. And so, we kind of bypassed that, didn't we?
We skipped over that slightly. Sorry, I should have gone through that. But there is only two options with the interior.
But two very contrasting options. And actually, look at that. You can actually see on the door there. It's not just the seat. You get the door. That's quite cool. I like the way the door card surround actually comes up. Yeah, that's really cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And works really well with the blue.
Oh, I think that would be my spec. That would be it.
Yeah. We're having Cognac's having quite a renaissance at the minute. The trouble with Cognac leather is that pretty much on every model of our range, you only get Cognac if you have the full M seat, the code 711 M bucket seat, which this has. Thankfully, that's a standard feature on this car. So Cognac is an option that's available. But
and we'll just talk about that quickly, actually, while you're on it. So these seats are the same seats that you get in an M2, M4. The standard seats, not obviously the carbon buckets, but these are actual full M seats, which I was talking to Imran from Evolve. So if he's wrong, you can go over and troll him.
You're going to blame Imran.
Yeah, I'm going to blame Imran. But he was saying actually that the American market is shaping up not to have those seats available. You can only get the standard sports seats or whatever they're called, which is a pity for the American market. There's always a reason as to why. So your M240i is going to come standard with electric
memory seats.
Memory M seats.
And they're proper M.
Which is...
I call them the M high back seat to differentiate it from the standard M seat that we've got. But you're right, they're a version of that. They're not illuminated, unfortunately, in here. That's just a black M badge that's in there. That's the only real difference to it. But it's a lovely seat, really comfortable.
That's a nice interior.
And very thin as well. So I'm wondering if that actually gives you a little bit more leg room behind the standard seat, because you've got the way the profile of the seat's designed. Yeah,
lock it in, Tony. That's the one I'm going. Oh no, I'm not ordering today.
I think you are. I think you need to change your M2.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's how I would go. I love the contrasting black with Portimao blue, something I'm very familiar with. I love the fact that Portimao blue looks a bit different on this car, and the Cognac interior and the black and even the chrome. I mean, it's just that's cool.
It's a proper eyeful of a car, isn't it?
It is really, really nice.
There's your front M seats listed out.
Yeah.
Front lumbar is actually standard, so even though it was listed in that comfort pack,
Oh, it's actually
the lumbar's
standard.
actually standard. So that £500 comfort pack really is a heated steering wheel and comfort access. It's just
Right.
the two items.
Which makes sense because that's easily 500 quid.
Comfort access is £500,
Yeah.
so its own steering was 150. So there's a saving
Yeah,
there.
and there's the electric memory seats on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seat belts, Sun Pro glass,
Yeah.
coloured calipers, badging. It comes with a hi-fi loudspeaker upgrade, so if you don't go for HK sound or Pro Pack, you've actually got the upgraded
Still
sound
a 10
system.
speaker system.
10 speaker,
yeah.
205 watt.
I'm hoping that you've all enjoyed this and found it interesting and useful, most importantly, because I think if you're looking at ordering one of these, it's always interesting. In fact, I think the original time I got this sort of specking idea was I watched a lot of Nick Murray, who's a Kiwi, lives in America, and he does all these, like, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying, but they're almost nerdy, like specking videos, or go into a dealership and go around, mostly with Porsches to be fair, but I'll sit there for an hour and watch one of his specking videos on a car that I'm not even interested in, and I just find it quite interesting delving into what's available, looking at it on the screen, and it's always a very exciting time. You know, I appreciate that not everyone's had the opportunity to order a car from scratch in a new car, and I am very lucky to have done that quite a few times in, say, the past 10 years of my life. It's always very exciting, and let's face it, how many of us have spent far too long at home, even when we're not looking at a car, on the configurator going, oh yeah, let's do this. So it's, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. As I said at the beginning, please make sure you do drop Tony a line using his contact information below.
If you're in the UK.
If you're in the UK. If you're not in the UK, then go over to his Instagram and troll him on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Make sure you give him a follow and look at all the cars that he's selling, because they are very interesting. I really find that fascinating. And yeah, please let me know if you want to see any more. If you want us to spec some other videos or other cars, specific models, then let us know in the comments below. But Tony, as always, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, and Berry BMW and their electricity, as it's definitely dark outside. Yeah. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you at the next video very, very soon. Cheers.